Well, for more on how the United States is applying those very lessons, I spoke a brief time ago with Dr. William Shaffner. He chairs the Department of Preventative Medicine at Vanderbilt Medical School. Dr. Shaffner, thanks very much for coming in. Everyone is talking about this swine flu vaccine. I gather you got a jab yesterday in the trial. How do you feel?
I did. Terrific. Actually, it hurt less than my regular influenza vaccine, which always tingles for about an hour or so.
So how long will it take for these trials to come up with a result? Before we know whether this is the vaccine that you've got inside you that actually we will use to inoculate the population against swine flu?
It'll take, by the time everything's completed, until about September, beginning or mid-September.
Right. Now, is that enough to get everyone prepared for the oncoming flu season?
Well, it's enough for us to know about the vaccine. Getting the vaccine delivered, now that's another matter because we anticipate giving it to a very large number of people in the United States.
What is the general level of preparedness? I mean, we've seen Argentina, they're dealing with the effects of swine flu in their winter. They've taken some fairly drastic measures. How prepared are we here in the Northern Hemisphere to deal with this oncoming onslaught?
Well, I take a deep breath. No matter how well you prepare for the hurricane, when the hurricane comes, there's going to be a bit of damage, right? So I think all of us in health care who are running hospitals and such, we've made our contingency plans, and we've actually drilled them in my own institution to see how well they'll work. Getting the vaccine out, I think we're eager to have the vaccine delivered through our public health mechanism and through private providers, private physicians' offices and the like also. And
the vaccine is now the most important part of that strategy?
Oh, I would think so, because vaccine, of course, leads to prevention. Prevention means less stress on the healthcare system, but we also must be prepared to take care of the sick when they come.
How many millions of Americans do you think will be vaccinated by the end of the day?
By December, I would hope that perhaps half the population, 150 million. This will be the largest crash vaccination program we've ever undertaken.
Now, what about some of the other measures? I mean, in some countries, schools were closed down when there was a single case of the swine flu. In other countries now, they're saying, actually, we don't want to close down schools at all. We'll just, try and keep those kids at home that think they might be infected. There seems to be a lot of confusion across the board on virtually every level about how to deal with the swine flu.
Well, what the CDC has done and said, Matt, is initially, when we weren't sure exactly how severe this illness was and we wanted to limit the transmission, the virus had just entered the country, we would close schools when we had just a few cases. Now we're reverting to our usual policies. I think we'll see schools closed when there's so many children sick and so many teachers sick that they can't function for a while. So it's more a coping mechanism rather than a device to limit transmission.
At the end of all this, once the vaccine has been developed, after all the scares and to some extent also hysteria about swine flu, will we sit back and say this was just like the regular flu, or has it been that much worse? Does it deserve the kind of attention that it's been getting?
Well, it certainly deserves the attention, and I think our judgment will be between the two. It's about as serious as the regular influenza, but since it's a new virus, it's actually affecting many, many more people. And so there are many more people who are sick than in an average influenza year. So it's a bit of both.
Therefore, also many more deaths, perhaps?
Well, fortunately, it's affecting children and young adults, so it spares people with a little bit of gray hair. And so I think maybe the deaths will be fewer, but we'll still have many hospitalizations.
I'm working on the gray hair. Thanks very much, Dr. Shaffner, for coming in.
A pleasure, Matt.